Okay guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to give this trusty old Xmaxx 8S a bit of love that it deserves. It's been sat under the workbench here for probably 2 years, maybe a little bit more. The rear diff started making a horrendous grinding noise and it was just sort of retired. Changed a couple of drive shafts on it, put it back together, still the same, so it was obviously the diff. Took it apart with my friend Simon, we just had a quick look at it, put some new gears in it, and literally the minute we blipped it down the drive, it just cleaned its teeth, as Si says, destroyed the crown gear on the diff. Basically, we're going to put some of these in, which I just picked up off Amazon. I'll leave a link in the description. So we're going to attempt to shim the diff. It's not the first time I've done it, but by no means an expert. Essentially, what we're going to do is pack these washers, or shims as they are, behind the pinion gear. So you've got the drive shaft coming down the centre, there's a pinion on the end, and that transfers the drive 90 degrees into the crown gear of the diff, then out into the wheels. So we're going to shim that, push that gear tighter, and then hopefully it's going to stop cleaning its teeth. And we can get the beast back out on some ramps and start enjoying it again, because it really is an epic truck, it really is. Right, what we've got here is the back half of an Xmaxx chassis. So that's as you'd be looking at it, and you're going to have your drive shaft sticking out the sides here to the left and the right, and then obviously all your wheels and whatnot. So the diff will be in here, and this is our pinion for the crown gear. So you're going to have your motors up in here, you can see where the pins go. You're going to have all your spur gears through into the centre drive shaft, which is where the splines are for that. So essentially what we're trying to do is stop this gear slipping on this one. So you can, if you want to, move this one that way, or we can move this one that way. So that's going to increase the tightness of this mesh here. Don't want it too tight because it's going to cause problems, but we don't want it too loose because that's where it's starting slipping and cleaning its teeth. So what we're going to do, I'm going to get a load of these shims. It's going to be a bit of trial and error, I'm afraid. And we're going to put those on the back of this pinion. They slide straight over there. So what we're trying to do is build up this gap here, so we're sliding this pinion out, so we're increasing the mesh. So the more we put behind it, the further it's going to push this gear backwards and tighten the mesh onto there. Sorry if I go over this again later guys, but I'm trying to shoot 2 videos at the same time, so we'll probably go over this again, but at least you get the idea. So we're pushing this gear backwards into this one. Let's give it a go. Okay, shimming the diff on a Traxxas Xmaxx 8S. So not a new video guys, I'm sure you've seen this before, but something I've never done on this particular truck. I've done it on an Revo VXL, the smaller one and the bigger one in the past. Basically what you've got is that is in the back of the car, and this comes from the drive shaft. So where these two mesh, that's where it's going to slip. Okay, so we need to space either this one or this one. So you can slide this pinion, we'll call it for process of this video, backwards, or you can slide the crown gear on the diff to the right of the car. Okay, so what we're going to do in this one, we're going to put some shims on the back of this gear. That's going to push it forwards, and it's going to tighten up the mesh into this pinion crown. So basically that is the back of the chassis of the car, as you can see it on my one there. Just happen to have a spare one here. So that is going to sit in there, and then that gear goes in the back there. So all we're doing is spacing this one, pushing it into the crown on the diff, and that's going to stop it slipping. So once that is all in there, all shimmed up nice and tight, that's when you're going to put your rear diff casing back on, boosh, lock it all together. So what we're going to do, this particular one as well, I've changed the gears to the, I think they're called helical, aren't they? So instead of being straight teeth like the standard one on the right, they've got a slight twist on them, and the same with, dropped it, that's the standard one, and that is the new one. So hopefully we're going to get a bit better mesh out of that, and they are going to be stronger. So that's what we're going to do, get that mesh there tightened, because every time you accelerate on this one, that's slipping and making an absolutely horrendous noise. And as my friend Simon says, it's cleaning its teeth. So every time we open it up, it's destroyed the gear on this one, and it's ripped all the teeth off it. So let's get those shims in. So after hunting around in various trade stores, we gave up and worked out by some good guesswork and measuring what shims we think we're going to need. So I managed to find this big bag of them on Amazon for £6, I think, for 60 of them. So me and Mario from Rombom, we're going to have half of these each. So what we're going to try and do, I'm going to try 3 first. So these will just go over the gear. Really good fit, those guys. Well happy with that. So we'll slide those over, and then we'll try and get the mesh sorted. So we're going to, bit of trial and error, a bit awkward with the camera right in my way, but we'll see how we get on. So the diff gear will go back in there. So basically, I don't know how you're best trying the mesh on these guys without running it and risking ripping the teeth. I don't know what the industry approved technique would be, if you like. So seems quite tight on there, but the only way I can do it really is to try it. So what we're going to do, we're going to put that back in there, we'll bolt it all back together, and then we'll see if this pinion from the centre drive shaft needs to come a little bit further out, or, so obviously we've got millions of washers, so we can put an extra one in, so that'll be from 3 to 4, and we'll try that. Or if it's too tight and it's making a horrible noise the other way, we can whip that pinion out and we'll put one less washer, making it 2. So let's give that a try. We'll put it all back together, pop these drive shafts back in. So one good thing with an Xmaxx, it is really easy to work on. So we'll get those back in there, and then we can give it a quick test out, see if it's worked. If it does work, we'll strip the back cover back off, cram that full of grease, because you need your grease in there, and we'll take it for a blast. Okay, so that didn't work. So what I think we're going to need to do is still slipping and crunching a bit. So we'll take this cover back off. We'll pull that pinion out, and we're going to try, I think I'm just going to go for it. I'm going to put another 3 in and see what happens. There's 3 in there at the minute, so if we jam another 3 in, I think should hopefully sort the problem. Because I remember when I did my eRevo VXL, the little one, the 1/16 one, that needed a massive pile. It was really surprising how many that needed. It's a bit frustrating you have to do this, but there we go. Little easy job, but it just takes a bit of patience. So it's granted is not one of the virtues I'm usually blessed with, but we need to get it done. So right, I've taken it back out. We've now got 6 of those washers on there, so that is a massive shim going in there. So I really hope that is going to push this pinion really tight under this crown, and we're not going to have any slipping. It was a lot better with 3, because before it was absolutely destroying the teeth on these crown gears. So I'm praying that'll do it. Really needs to work, because it's an epic truck, and Mario from Rombom spent a while yesterday, took all the diff apart, cleaned it all out, some good brake cleaner, put the right oil in it, and it does, I have to admit, feel really, really good now compared to what it did. So let's do this for Mario. Let's get this fitted, get it sorted. Okay, I'm not confident that that's all going to work. I'm just going to absolutely cake all this in grease, guys. I'm sure there'll be people on there telling me I'm doing it all wrong and I shouldn't be doing this, shouldn't be doing that, but here we go. I'm just covering it all over there, because why not? We got the grease, let's get it in there. Jam that in there. Oh, it does feel much better in there, guys. So we'll cake all the bearings. We get on the out drives, do we? Cake all that. Really should start looking after these trucks a bit more, guys, because I don't really maintain them as they should be, and they do cost an awful lot of money, don't they? So jam that back in here, and we'll, just for good measure, we'll fill the back of this as well, so the whole lot is covered. Jam all that in here. So awkward with the camera in a way. I take my hat off to you guys that do this all the time with cameras in front of you. There we are. Okay, and I've even kept my pinky clear so I can press stop on the camera. So I'm going to do that now. We'll jam that back on there. There's enough grease on there to sink a battleship, guys. And fingers crossed, that's sorted it. And one thing I always forget to do, as I've done there, I forget to put the drive shafts back in. So I'll whip that out, put the drive shafts in, a bit more grease, just for good measure, and she'll be right. Okay, I think we've done it. So it's all back together. I've given it a quick test up and down the drive. Seems okay. Ideally, it wants 1 less. I ended up putting 8 shims in here, which seems ridiculous, but if that's what it takes. tiny little bit tight, so if we maybe took one out next time we give the diff a service, because I promise I'm going to start looking after this. So we'll leave it with 7, and I think that'll be the sweet spot. I have put that new rear casing on. Maybe the other one was a little bit worn and wasn't pushing it tight enough into the pinion. I don't know, but I had one in stock, so we've used that. So the next thing, we can get the beast out, send it off the ramp. Probably break something else, but that's what these are all about. They're absolutely awesome trucks, and I'm so glad, I think, fingers crossed, that I fixed it. So don't forget, guys, I'll leave a link in the description below for the washers I've used off Amazon. They fit absolutely perfectly, so hopefully this will help some of you out with your clicky rear diffs cleaning their teeth. Nice one, guys.